Yo, folks, I'm here as Bugsy, just Bugsy, not as Bugsy the Saiyan, not as Discord Bugsy, not as Bugsy the Hedgehog, just plain Bugsy. And I want to just tell Mr. Sakurai this. And you're probably gonna have to get a translator because I cannot speak Japanese. But I want to tell you, Mr. Sakurai, in my own words. You've done a lot for this project. A lot. And personally, I think you could take a break. Crap, I mean, after the Wii U's out, after the Wii U version's out, and if there's ever another installment, you should have someone you should have someone else do it. And then you can just oversee it, because I understand you have the sense of duty to keep on going. And that's commendable. But still, it would be better if you just kind of get someone else to do it. And then you can just oversee the next one if there is going to be a next one, which probably there will be. But I'm just saying, you could be like, you know what? I'm gonna let this dude handle it. I'm gonna oversee the project and do all that good stuff. Personally, I just feel like Mr. Sakurai, you just need a little break. Trust me, we all need little breaks. And you've gone above and beyond with this game, and I really mean that. And for anybody who watches this message other than my subscribers and Mr. Sakurai himself, because I actually do want to give this to him. Oh yeah, I'm not kissing his butt. I'm just saying, I can understand a huge game like how Professor What and how Professor What and Sonic Free Fighters are my huge projects. And sometimes I feel a little bit overwhelmed. Because really, with my two projects, it's just me. It's just me doing everything. I don't have a team. It's just me. And sometimes, you just gotta take a break. You gotta take a step back and let someone else do it. As long as they know what you want this project to be, and they don't change anything, you're in the clear. So I can understand, Mrs. Sakurai being all, I need a break. The pressure from this is taking too much. See, unlike the creator of Flappy Bird, really when he said it, I don't think he was legit about it. Because god dang, man, you were making too much freaking money to just be like, okay, you with the pressure. I'm thinking to myself, like, what pressure? It's not like a gigantic game. You could probably just, pretty much anybody that can freaking know how to make iPhone games can do Flappy Bird. There's no science behind it. But with a massive game like Super Smash Brothers and everything that goes into that, I can see how Mr. Sakurai would be exhausted, because really this thing is going to be the most ultimate of all Super Smash Brothers. There's nothing else that is going to top this one, and I really mean that. I really, really mean that. This is going to be the end-all, be-all of Super Smash Brothers games. And there is nothing else they can do with this other than add a few characters that people want to see in. So, what I'm saying, Mr. Sakurai, you just need a break. Honestly, in my humble opinion, give someone else a chance to do it. If not now, the next go round. Because, this must be taxing for you. and the stress is probably freaking unbearable. So I think, you should pass it on to somebody.
Certainly, of course, they have quite a unique or perhaps work ethic out there, as it were, as you say.
Yes, that's right.
And he said he works from morning to late nights, even on
Wow. Man, I can't even pull all-nighters anymore.
weekends and holidays as well, apparently. And apparently, he's hardly got any free time. He said, I don't have any time left to play other games either.
No, indeed, that's right. It seems he really is spending nearly every waking hour working on Super Smash Brothers. And of course, he said beforehand on Super Smash Brothers Melee, which was of course the very big game of 2001, he said towards the end of his development cycle on that, there were times when he'd work for up to 40 hours straight and then take 4 hours off to go home and sleep.
Well, most certainly,
Dang.
apparently he's getting on a bit because he says, well, I'm not young, as it were, anymore, and he just says, I can't push myself like I used to when I was younger. You see, and he says, I feel that the business, due to the sheer amount of features in the games, etc., was this time round with this new game much greater
And much busier.
and busier and more pressure. Now the thing is, you see,
Yes, of course, if I just chip in there,
Yes.
indeed, we
I'm
had
gonna
to
let Game Chat and Birdie talk for a bit.
compare Super Smash Bros. 4 to Super Smash Bros. Melee. There really is no comparison. The amount of features packed into the latest Smash Bros. Game is phenomenal, with all the characters, all the stages, assist trophies, music, all the credits, all the producers, all the different facets. It really is Nintendo's biggest series, literally, in terms of the amount of content packed into each game. And you have to consider this man is also something of a perfectionist. Indeed, his games are always of very high quality, and you can really see he pours a lot of work into getting each one just right. But of course, that starts to take its toll on the individual after a while.
most certainly, and he said he was trying to sort of balance completing his work each day around maintaining his health each day. So
Oh my
these
goodness.
are quite big public statements for him to say. Now the question is, I mean, we're all very happy with the game, it's all exciting and very good, but should we be saying, well, yes, it's very sad for him, or perhaps will another camp say, well, he's a bit ungrateful, isn't he? He's got a dream job, why is he complaining about it?
For people that say that, you haven't worked on a game. Like, if you're a game designer, if you're an indie game designer, game developer and whatnot, you don't know the first thing about working on games on a big scale with big features and all this crap in it. To say, oh, he's ungrateful, he does a dream job and all this crap. Dude, he's exhausted. The man dude, the man pulls all-nighters. I mean, dudes. I mean, some of us do pull all-nighters, but Jesus. You know? And you guys are like, oh my God. Woo. And I know some of you probably will say that to me, and you're going to be like, oh, you just this Nintendo fanboy, that's why you care. No, I care because a human being is getting overworked because he wants to he wants to make this game the best we can be, so he won't all like go, oh, when's the next one? Oh, we want this character and that character. With every character being in DLC, I don't think there should be another Super Smash Brothers. Honestly, that's what I think. Because with DLC pouring in for Super Smash Brothers, I don't think there should be another one. Personally, that's what I feel. Like, at least not for a very, 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 very long time, you know? Give old Sakurai a chance to just rest and do some other games or, hang out with people. Because I bet you, it says it cuts into his private life, so you can just imagine he probably has to, tell his buddies, like, hey, I'm working on Smash. I'm working on Smash. I don't got time to hang out with you guys. So, if we're going to a bar or something, I can't hang out with you guys right now. We gotta work on Smash. And again, I appreciate everything that Mr. Sakurai has done to this point, but at this point, when the Wii U version comes out, I want this man to just take a rest. Just rest for a little while. That's all I want. This guy to just kind of be like, you know what? since the game's out, I'm just gonna go ahead and just do whatever. Freaking freaking write a novel, watch a movie, stuff, something like that. Something that he'd enjoy. Because if I was doing a project like this, and I kind of am in a way, I would want to relax. Straight up, I'd want to relax. After everything's said and done, I'd sit there and be like, you know what? I'm gonna just sit back, watch some stuff, and just be done with it. You know? And Sakurai should just go back. Even if the game's done, like when there's a new DLC character, he could probably, whenever they make new DLC, because someone should else handle the DLC characters, other than Sakurai. So I feel someone else should take up the mantle for the DLC characters. But like I said, Mr. Sakurai, because you're probably gonna need a translator, man. And anybody who wants to translate this video for him, could you do that for me, please? I want to tell Mr. Sakurai that, you done enough, man. You done enough, sir. You deserve a break. You deserve a well-earned break, vacation, like whatever. You deserve that and then some. That's all I gotta say.
I mean, hundreds of thousands of people would love this job.
Oh, yes, and certainly you have to take the other side's thoughts there as well into account, Elshep. It's a very good point, I say. Of course, indeed, he is in a very good position there, but he's not ungrateful at all. He did later on say he believes he should be thankful that he was given such funds to be able to use the iconic characters and content that represent Japanese games with such freedom, and also, of course, have multitudes of fans around the world playing his games too. Now, interestingly, of course, although he has this freedom,
you get that
it seems ironic that all the pressure and all the expectations of the fans
I don't know what you doing here. It's just amazing what you do. I'm just saying.
Perhaps sacrifice his health for the game.
Well, that's what they say, you see. Now, one of the things he said, I passed my limit long ago.
Oh.
Well, the viewers and people that are playing the game, etc., watching, what do you think? Do you think he's passed his limit? Because he's certainly involved in this, and the game seems to have gone down very, very well.
Indeed, I just have to add, of course, here, we do know he did have a bit of a problem with his arm. Now, I don't know whether that's healed up or not, but certainly for a time there, he was saying he couldn't even hardly use his hand, I think it was his right hand, and I think it was related to carpal tunnel, perhaps, or something horrible like that, so he really was in a bit of a bad way there, and of course putting all this effort into work and development on the games at the same time, with a massive amount of pressure, so perhaps the stress is starting to get to him too, oh boy.
Well, exactly, yes. I mean, he said he's not depressed, he said, and he's continuing to remain, he says, healthy and positive, out trying to, but developing Smash, he said, is beyond hard.
Well, understandable, boy, and I think you also have to take into account for a game of such huge
Again, I'm
size,
just gonna let
they
them
really
talk.
have put it together quite quickly, old boy. I mean, the development cycle this time was not too long at all, I say.
Well, yes, indeed, that's true. The thing is, now, is it the fans? Are the fans to blame? Have they been putting too much pressure on poor old Mr. Sakurai and demanding of him this and that and the other? And has he got on his plate the challenge to come up with new ideas, players, moves,
Well,
whatever, to satisfy the fans?
I would say this is he being asked the impossible for just one man like that. I don't know, but certainly he has a team there, of course, at his disposal, but it seems because he wants to oversee each part of the project and have his own input into each section of the game, make sure everything fits his specification exactly, he can't necessarily have, 10 copies of himself doing all that work. He has to go around individually all the different desks, make sure each one's doing their job right, and apparently he doesn't want to, shall we say, delegate the responsibilities to his co-workers. He wants to make sure he has the final say in each piece of the project, I think.
Well, most certainly,
That's
yes,
understandable.
speaking up on it, I mean, obviously, we don't want it, and I'm sure he doesn't want it to sound like as though all you can see, for example, on the screen, all these characters, moves going on stages, etc. That it's not just Mr. Sakurai. He hasn't just been sitting there doing all that on his own. As you say, he's got a big team there,
Yes.
and each team's going to be doing different things. Maybe one working on the characters, one working on the stages, one working out the moves and the weapons and have whatever. And so, but as you say, he's going around each desk saying, is that right? Is that right? Is that right? Is that right? And
Yes.
so he's got to encompass all those brains and thoughts into his own head and bring them out at the end with something sensible that comes together, you see.
That's
like how
right,
he
it must
did
be
the little
full of
center
pleasure
thing,
for you.
yeah.
And
It's
I
kinda
have
cool.
to say, it seems indeed, just coming back to the thing of this, perhaps Mr. Sakurai cracking a bit, he did indeed make some rather distressing comments, didn't he, old chap?
Well, he most certainly did, yes indeed.
Yes, I have to quote him here, unfortunately, fellows. He did say, sometimes I wind up thinking about life itself. Things like, why is it again that people are born? These are dangerous words, old chap.
My goodness me, what could we say? I mean, we just want to play Smash Brothers. We got to be burned with this now. We feel responsible for it.
I think, in a sense, it kind of is the fans' fault, but in another sense, it's just, I think Mr. Sakurai puts way too much pressure on himself. You know, I guess it's just how people from Japan kind of are. They, you know, some put lots and lots and lots of pressure on themselves. You know? So yeah, I guess he'd go all existential on himself and just be like, you know, pondering all this stuff. It's just, I can understand all this because, you know, certain people, when stuff like this happens, when they work on something like this, I guess, you know, some stuff like that can happen. You know? It's, you know, I wouldn't say it's the fans' fault. It's not Sakurai's fault. Although I do think he puts way too much pressure on himself to get this game out. And really, like, after this, he should just, like, take a few weeks off for vacation or something.
Almost, how can I play this character knowing that poor Mr. Sakurai is in a state like this, and to get that character looking good and I feel good about it, he feels bad?
Yes, it's
Oh, do we
Yeah, now I kind of feel bad, too.
care?
Is our beloved Super Smash Brothers starting to be, perhaps at the expense of his life? I don't know, old boy. It's frightful, I say. But
Well, most certainly.
he said the work is large enough and difficult enough that it can actually affect how you look at life, he said. Goodness me.
Well, I suppose he does. I
Wow.
mean, especially if you're playing the game and you keep losing all the time. It's John Henry.
Well, I don't think he meant that, old chap.
No, I don't
but,
think he
no, indeed, it seems he's taking this quite seriously, and perhaps combined with, as we said earlier, the Japanese outlook on work and the sense of duty there, and perhaps honouring the workplace, etc., and so forth, it really is starting to take its toll.
Well, most certainly, as I said earlier. Look at all
He
the
should really take.
stages.
I'm just saying he should take a break. That's my big old thing about this. Mr. Sakurai, if you're listening to this, I'm telling you, as a fan of your work, of all your games, Kirby, Kid Icarus, Super Smash Brothers, you need a break. You need a long, lengthy break. You need to just take a little time. After the Wii U stuff is done, you just need to take a little time and just chill. Or do something. I don't know what something you could do, but something that takes the edge off. That's all I'm trying to say.
On this game, compared to the other games, what they had to come up to means there's been already quite a few Smash Brothers games.
Yes.
So they've got to produce something, or had to produce something with this game that's better than all the rest.
That's the challenge, yes.
That's the challenge and burden upon them. But of course, as I said earlier, do we as the players and the fans, etc., have to be sympathetic towards them, or should we just expect it? It's their job, they're getting paid for it, there's a lot of money involved in it.
Well,
There's
indeed.
two ways to think about it.
Certainly, I think a lot of the burden here on Mr. Sakurai will be coming from Nintendo, and perhaps really he should be getting, I don't know, some more support from Nintendo. Perhaps, some managerial staff that can perhaps share the burden of the work, Perhaps he can sort of as I said earlier, delegate some of his responsibilities, take a bit of the pressure off his shoulders, and I just have to quote him once more here. He said, I wish I had time, you see, to think about what I want to do from here, but that doesn't look like it's going to be the case. So again, he really is stretched for time with all this responsibility.
Well, most certainly, and is
Yeah, I can see that too.
all the people that are listening to this and watching and playing the game, etc. There's a style to the game, as you can see.
Oh, yes.
There's a style and a particular feel to it. Now, is Mr. Sakurai responsible for that, being the head of all these other heads, as it were? And could we do without him if he just decided to just retire or something?
I don't think so, but I have played many of Mr. Sakurai's games from Smash Brothers to Kid Icarus, and I say they all have his own signature style. I just think if you took him out of that picture, the style would disappear, old boy.
Well, yes, most certainly, it's very interesting. So, I don't know...
I mean, maybe, but the man clearly needs a break. Like, he's either going to have a work overload and have a heart attack, and I don't want to wish that on anybody, or he is going to just, he's going to collapse. He's going to collapse under all this stress. Trust me, I've been stressed out a whole bunch of times, kiddies. So I know what that's like.
Oh, I mean, perhaps we should all send him a little teddy bear or something to cheer him up.
We'll send him nice messages and boxes of chocolates, old chap.
Or perhaps we just buy the game.
Yes, and buy the game. That's a good idea. And make sure you get all the DLC. That'll make him feel better.
Oh, yes.
Did I say DLC?
Oh, we forgot about that. Look at all the DLC, the burden of working all that out, and how much you charge for it.
That's very much questionable. We know Mewtwo's DLC, but we don't know about other DLC just yet, old chap.
Well, most certainly, yes, they've got a lot of DLC coming out.
But we think there will be, you know. We just have a suspicion, don't we, old chap? We just think there might be.
Well, yes, and just picking up on that, yes, there probably will be with this new game.
Yes.
Not just the ones we know about, but ones coming out as the years go, or the year goes by to the next game. They're going to keep adding DLC to it. It saves them making another game.
Yes, indeed, and certainly I think Mrs. Sakurai might be grateful for that, but there you are, Fidelis. The chief of Smash Brothers is in a bit of a bad way. I think his, shall we say, his damage percentage is quite high.
Well, yes, it's quite high up there. You could be going for a knockout soon.
Well, I hope not.
But the thing is, what do you think? Taz, what do you think? Do you think you should just be able to, we don't care, we're just getting on with the game and having fun? Or do you think when you're playing the game, you think, oh dear, I think I better think something about poor old Mr. Sakurai, who's made this game, made me feel happy, and now he's sad.
In fact, if you take a very close look at your Smash Brothers game cartridge, you might find particles of Mr. Sakurai's blood and sweat on there, old chap.
Oh, really?
I'm sure it is, old
that off now, actually.
Well, you know what I'm trying to say. Goodness me. There you are, Fidelis. Blood, sweat and tears from Mrs. Sakurai. What do you think? Do this, I
It's all your fault.
It's all your fault, right there. It's our fault, too,
It's our
old chap.
fault. Oh, yes.
There you are. Join us again for the next exciting Nintendo news outing, I say. Bye, George. We look forward to seeing you then. Until then.
Personally, guys, I think we should all just, make some videos for him. This is my message to him. And I think some of you should too. If you're fans of anything that he's done, I think we just need to show him that we appreciate what he's doing. We really do appreciate what he's doing. And he needs to hear from all of us. He needs to hear from all of us that, the job is done. So you after the freaking Wii U version's out, take a break. Take a long, hard break. That's all I gotta say. See you guys later. I am Bugsy. And I am us. I am Bugsy. When it comes to stuff like this, I'm very, very sympathetic. And I understand more. I understand this a lot more than probably some of you do. Or probably you understand it more than I do. Either way, I'm gonna send this to Mr. Sakurai. And I'll send this to Mr. Sakurai, and maybe you can take comfort in the fact that, we fans do care about the game, but we also care about the guy who made it. as much as we love the game, we should care about the guy who made it. Because without him, Smash wouldn't even be possible. And that's all I really have to say.